What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A group of U.S. lawmakers have reaffirmed U.S. commitment to Taiwan. 63 members of the U.S. Congress co-sponsored a resolution commemorating the 45th anniversary of the Taiwan Relations Act, which has defined unofficial relations between the two countries after the U.S. switched relations to China in 1979. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden and Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio called for peace in the Taiwan Strait during a summit in Washington, D.C. A booming tech sector in Taiwan is to thank for a boost in the country's exports. The Finance Ministry says exports for March were up almost 19% from the same period last year, amounting to sales worth over $41 billion. Exports for the first quarter were up almost 13% from the previous year, reaching more than $110 billion. The ministry says solid demand for emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and high-performance computing devices are spurring the increase. New Zealand will soon start buying Taiwanese pineapples after nearly 8 years of negotiations. The new agreement will only allow pineapples grown under certain conditions to be exported to New Zealand. It's part of a movement to expand the international market for Taiwanese agricultural products. Taiwan already exports the fruit to countries like Japan, South Korea, and Australia. This year marks the 11th year since Taiwan and New Zealand signed an economic cooperation deal scrapping all tariffs on goods. Last week's earthquake in Taiwan has taken a huge economic toll on the Hualien region. One key local industry is facing $32 million worth of damage. Zhang Van Trist reports.
Yet another factory floor in Hualien ruined. Marble and stone are important pillars in this eastern county's economy, both imported and locally mined in the area's mountains. But last week's magnitude 7.2 earthquake near here shattered much of the stock in seconds. The worst-hit factories lost 80% of their inventory. One estimate puts the total damage at $32 million. The cleanup alone could take 2 months in some cases. Shipments that were supposed to go out will now have to be delayed too, deepening the economic cost. For now, local officials are trying to figure out where all this destroyed stone is going to end up.
我们非常迅速的找出一个大概约2公顷的一个土地啊，这个部分初估是可以来解决啊这个我们的这个破碎大理石材的一个现在一个堆置的一个问题。
The large-scale destruction is yet another blow to livelihoods in Hualien. The other big economic pillar, tourism, is also in trouble. The earthquake destroyed hotels, triggering mass layoffs, and a drop in bookings is expected even where tourism can continue. Hualien is one of Taiwan's most earthquake-prone regions, though, and this isn't the first time people here have had to rebuild. The government has promised relief based on a program it launched after the last big one in 2018, when the stone industry got around $93 million in support.
的费用我们大概就比较02、06的模式，但是因为薪资上涨，还有原物料上涨，所以我们这一部分也会做适当的调整。
Hualien stone factories don't yet know how much they can expect to get, though, and whether it will be enough to get this key local industry back on its feet. Devin Tsai and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Some of the most vulnerable people affected by the quake, migrant workers, are calling for help to get back on their feet. To learn more about their plight, Tiffany Wong spoke with Julia Mariano from Migrant, Taiwan, an NGO that helps Filipino migrant workers.
There are over 750,000 migrant workers in Taiwan, and over 5,000 of them work in Hualien, which is the epicenter of that earthquake. So how has that earthquake affected migrant workers?
Right now, the number is up to 15 Filipinos were injured, some working in domestic work. And as we know, some structures in Hualien, a lot of structures in Hualien actually were destroyed by the earthquake. And a lot of these caretakers, where their workplaces are the homes, they were affected along with it. And then in factories as well, one Filipino was, as she was evacuating, debris fell on her head, and she had to be hospitalized. And so a lot of these Filipino workers are suffering both physical and also psychological injuries.
Migrant workers in Taiwan mostly work in manufacturing industries or caregiving. So how has the earthquake impacted their jobs? Have some people even lost their jobs?
I think what this earthquake has revealed is the way their jobs are very precarious. For example, for caretakers, during the earthquake, their first priority is to evacuate or to protect their patients that they're taking care of, even to almost to a point where they will have to sacrifice themselves. For example, they use their own bodies to cover their patients. They have to put the life of the patient before theirs. The conditions of the factory workers inside the factory, it has always been also precarious. We're not very sure of the safety standards. And so this earthquake has revealed the precarity of what their working conditions are.
Are migrant workers eligible for any assistance from the Taiwanese government, their own home countries, or even the brokers themselves? And how can they get help after this earthquake?
Because specifically migrant caretakers, they have already been excluded from the Labor Standards Act. And so during emergencies like this, and even before the earthquake, when they have to be taken to the hospital or when they are sick themselves, one is they don't have set days off where they will be free to go out. And what that translates to is sometimes they will be, if they choose to take a day off, it will be deducted from their salary. If they ask assistance from their broker or to be taken to the hospital, then they will also be made to pay extra fees instead of these fees being covered by their employers themselves.
A singer from Taiwan's indigenous Amis community has been deported from the United States after trying to enter the country without a visa. Putapi Hai of the band Outlet Drift was invited to join a tour in the U.S., but organizers failed to secure her work visa. The organizers allegedly asked her to lie to customs agents at the border by saying she was on vacation. However, agents were suspicious and interrogated the singer, searching and holding her for 17 hours before deporting her back to Taiwan. The organizer has since apologized for the incident. A Taiwanese acrobatic troupe wowed audiences at a performing arts festival in San Diego, California. Tiffany Wong reports.
Never letting go of each other, these Taiwanese acrobats brought their act's duo to the Without Walls Festival in San Diego, California. The two-person routine depicts the emotions couples go through in their relationship, all through body movement, captivating audiences.
Such a beautiful visual metaphor, and it made me cry.
高兴有这个机会，就是可以看到来自台湾的演出，非常感动。然后这其实是我第2场。
While the act went smoothly, behind the scenes, the group said performing outdoors came with challenges.
有风的话，它其实多多少少它的重心上都是会被风给影响，或者是其实看到今天的地板，它其实是有一点点斜度的，所以对于我们可能在做支撑上来讲，就必须要更克服这个环境可能会带来更多的负担。
But they've had plenty of experience meeting challenges like these. Their act has gained worldwide attention, and they've performed in festivals in the UK, France, Australia, and South Korea. The troupe joined the San Diego Festival with help from the Overseas Taiwanese Culture Office.
团队的样态越来越多元，那我们会找寻适当的场合，把我们不同的这个团队跟作品推荐给适合的一个艺术节，或者是在适当的平台让他们被世界看见。
It's an unforgettable experience for the performers as well, who say that even after 80 performances worldwide, each audience is unique.
他们会好奇我们故事的内容到底就2个人的结局是什么，然后就感觉蛮感动的。
And as they head to their next destination, they'll bring the memories they made in San Diego with them. Eason Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.